Welcome to the latest in our series of TopMedTalks 2. In these podcasts, the TopMedTalk team is in conversation with global thought leaders in perioperative care. TopMedTalk.
Well, hello and welcome. We are here at the 7th Annual World Patient Safety Summit in Huntington Beach, Southern California. I'm Desiree Chappell, host of TopMedTalk, and I'm joined with Monty, the editor-in-chief of TopMedTalk.
Who today appears to be the sound engineer.
You are the sound engineer, Monty. You're doing a fabulous job. You are.
I hope this gets recorded successfully.
You're working well under the stress.
True.
It's gonna be recorded. I see it right now. It's good. You hit the button.
Yeah, I don't know if it's recording well, but
on the air. Yeah. So we've been talking about it because we just have to say this now. Just much like we've been eating calamari at every single restaurant we've been to, we're going to talk about the weather on every single time because we're in SoCal, and it's gorgeous right now. But we've experienced some rain in Southern California. It's been horrible. So we're going to enjoy the weather maybe later today.
We might have
we'll
let the ice cream van go. They're trying to get people to go back into the room, and there's a man here who's got a glockenspiel with him.
He looks like he's having fun playing around. Anyway, well, we are so fortunate to have a dear friend of TopMedTalk, Lynn Reede, who is the Chief Clinical Officer with the AANA. Lynn, thank you so much for joining us.
Desiree, Monty, so good to be with family.
It is. That's what we are. And every time we're around, I'm like, Lynn, I got to get you on here. Let's talk. And we always run out of time because that's just who we are.
Our shared passion for excellence, right?
That's right. We're both running around crazy. But we have this chance to sit down and chat. I think being here at the Patient Safety Movement Foundation Summit and the fact that it is a multidisciplinary approach to patient safety is really important. That's really important to both of us. I think to take a look at what we're doing maybe in the AANA with that collaborative, multidisciplinary approach to care and how maybe some of the initiatives that we're leading or that we're trying to get started, that really does bring us together to be able to work collaboratively with colleagues, physicians, non-physicians, patients, really. So, Lynn, what's going on with the AANA right now? What are we doing with some of these initiatives?
Well, I think to your point, Desiree, the most important thing is taking care of patients. Just how can we drive our ability to link with others across the care setting, the very diverse areas that we provide care, whether it's from the office setting through the academic medical centers, so the community hospitals, rural, urban, the military, also trying to keep that patient from really experiencing pain in a way that we can desensitize their experience, that opioids are never necessary, right? So that we can contribute to moving from an opioid crisis to a country that really perceives pain differently and care for ourselves. So the AANA is involved in multiple areas through our Enhanced Recovery Shared Interest Group that you and I work together with, whether it's the American Society of Enhanced Recovery, the CRNA Committee, Evidence-Based Perioperative Medicine, and with the Anesthesia Patient Safety Foundation.
That's something you're involved in.
And that's really why I'm here with the Anesthesia Patient Safety Foundation as well as the AANA, but to look at the patient safety movement and how can we join or consider another collaborative or the work that they're doing and integrate it into what we're doing to really touch patients. And patients have been here talking.
Yes, and I love that.
Yes, and how do we really help our patients understand those signals to know that there's some trouble brewing so that they can get the care that they need, the appropriate care when we don't even recognize it? How can we make the patient our partner in safety, right?
And, I look at the way we interact or how, you go to these meetings and if they do actually happen to have a patient, the interaction that we have with them on that level, it's so very different than what we do on a daily basis when we're doing pre-ops and seeing them in PAT or even seeing them post-op. It's just a different interaction. And I think that there's probably a lot to be learned from that we maybe need to turn the focus into not just, milling them through and getting everybody through the line, which, we're all under time constraints. I totally understand that. But to actually sit and have a conversation with somebody to learn about what's important to them, and that's the way we're going to guide care.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm learning from seeing these interviews with patients. The interaction is so very different.
Time. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. It was a very poignant moment that we talk all about how we can really pause and really set up systems to take good care, but then that production pressure to keep getting things done, it's still a struggle. It's still the pivot point that we have to address, right?
Yeah. It is. We talk about how we can do this collaboratively because it's just not just about one group. We all touch the patient, any of the providers during their, surgical journey or just their journey through the healthcare. So what are we talking about in the AANA? And I mean, you're involved with a diverse group, a large community, nursing community, AP. I mean, you're involved in these. So what are these conversations that people are having about how we work together to do something? Because it's all fine and dandy if it's on paper, but what are we actually doing?
Oh, my head is swimming.
I know. I'm sorry. It's a big question. No,
that's okay. Yeah, no, I feel like the patient who just tried to hear the questions that were asked up on the stage. I mean, it was like...
I think that's what patients probably feel like when they're being asked questions.
Right, because we have our tribal languages, and how do we start speaking the patient's language? But I think the conversation that was here was so important. We've all talked about how do we coordinate all these disparate systems to serve the patient? How can we get to the data? How can the patient have just their own data? So when I come see you, here, Desiree, this is who I am and what you need to know. Monty, I was just in your hospital, but you can't see me in your system because it's a whole different medical record than the other office was using. So that's really important. Why don't we let patients have their whole complete record, right?
How did that get stalled? Didn't Microsoft and Apple at one stage launch Your Health Record?
I think Google was trying to do that too, weren't they?
I think so.
I can get into my bank account with a thumbprint login.
And
look around my bank accounts and all the exchanges and all that sort of thing. Why can't I look at my medical records?
Absolutely. We talked about this back in the 80s, that we would have like a credit card with the chip in it, right? That would have, everywhere you went, everything would be on this little card. Never happened.
No.
Who's stopping it, though?
I was just going to say, in fact, whenever I was working as a nurse, I mean, it was kind of like we didn't show the medical records to the patients.
So what they talked about this morning was the HIPAA, the confidentiality piece. But what the gentleman was saying was that HIPAA stops when the patient has their own information.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they can do with it what they choose to do with it. So give it to us.
Yeah.
And even in the patient portals, I don't know, I haven't been part of healthcare that I have my own patient portal, but can I export that information to whoever I go see, and can they input information into the system? No, I don't think so.
It's achievable. Some of those barriers have been broken down. We interviewed a gentleman who's ex-anesthesiologist who set up a company called...
He's a recovering anesthesiologist?
Recovering medical director. Who set up something called My Pre-Op, which was, in other words, was the ownership of... And he's been enabling the transfer of data out. So in other words, could you send me all my data, please? Can you transfer it in? And they say, oh, hang on a second. That's not allowed because of HIPAA. Hang on a second. It's my.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about you leaking it to someone else. It's my data.
Yeah.
He is brilliant. He is moving an agenda. I know who you're talking about.
It's impressive stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What else are we doing at the AANA recently? I don't know. There's so much going on.
Well, I think that the pain, all the stuff, all the pain initiatives. I know there's a couple large-scale U.S. groups that are getting together that are trying to address this. I mean, are we involved in any of that? Or are you
sure, HHS just came out with their document. It's a 90-day comment, and it talks about the availability of providers to provide pain care is really limited. So it's kind of physician-centric at the moment, but we're working with them to change that language. But no, CRNA, Bruce Shaniboom served on that task force.
All forms of pain meds, or
pain management?
Yeah.
But,
the restriction of physicians are keeping control of all, really?
Of advanced pain management, and sure, yes.
Okay.
The biggest constraint to practice in the country is at the medical staff level because the physicians still control that, Monty.
Is that because of because there are financial levers that are involved?
Absolutely.
It's always a complicated conversation, but in the NHS, we're more than delighted for anyone to do.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The old story used to be that the junior doctor, when I was young, was woken up in the middle of the night to say, could you come up and write up some acetaminophen, some paracetamol for a patient? And he said, why? He says, well, they've got a headache. And he said, well, what do you do, nurse, when you've got a headache? He says, well, I take some acetaminophen, some paracetamol.
Yeah, I open my purse.
Yeah, he said, well, can you give them some of yours?
Oh, my God.
You see what I mean? Because you can buy it in the chemist.
I know.
So you can go downstairs and buy some in the shop in the lobby of the hospital. So give it up, man.
Well, and I know you've heard me tell the story when I had the ruptured appendix last year. And I'm like, I woke up. Are you having pain? Do you need morphine? Are you having pain? And I mean, this is a top 100 hospital in this country. No enhanced recovery pathway. And then I get to the floor and I said, I thought I need to mobilize, right? Drink, eat, mobilize. Dream. And so I asked the nurse, what do I have ordered for walking, right?
Yeah.
And she said, Norco. I said, no.
No, oh my
I said,
And what's
no.
Norco? That's an opioid. Isn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Yes. I said, no acetaminophen, no ibuprofen. No. Well, you can't have ibuprofen. You might bleed. I'm like, no.
Oh, my God.
I said it would be okay. I could open my purse over there. To your point.
It's like, give me my
That's why
purse.
I'm telling you the story. But isn't that the point? The patients are the ones that know they don't want the narcotic. They want it sparingly when it's appropriate. They want to be able to manage their discomfort in a very healthy way so they can think, walk, not fall.
And you haven't crossed that bridge. You don't, because we do let people have stuff in their bedside locker that they would normally have access to at home.
That's brilliant.
There are also electronic Dosset boxes, so that they're controlled in such a way.
So
that
it's like a PCA oral patient-controlled analgesia that they can just.
You say I'd like some, because they recognise acetaminophen, paracetamol, Tylenol, whatever you call it. They recognise their usual non-steroidal that they're happy taking. They hit the button, and if the time window is allowing them to take another dose, it pops open and they can have the tablets.
We have that for IV narcotics, but not for oral non-narcotic.
You can have IV heroin, but you can't have a box of Tylenol.
You just can't have a box of Tylenol.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm so glad. Always glad to talk with you.
Yeah, I never heard that. I heard of that system before.
It's some places have. They've liberalised the fact that the drugs you're going to go home with, you can have them when you're in hospital.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because what's the magic thing that happens when you leave? You leave with a big sack of stuff.
Right.
But when you're in here, you can't have 6 of them.
Control of your care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, well, that changes.
Well, I think we need to talk to the folks who do the automated dispensing units, because I think there's a market piece here that needs to be addressed.
We're going to cut that one out of the. We're going to keep that for ourselves. No, I'm kidding. No, that's really interesting. It's funny. All these conversations, it keeps coming back to the patient.
Yes.
And so I think that. I don't know what initiatives are going on now. I mean, it seems like everybody has to get their house in order. But, I mean, how do we start disseminating information to the patients and getting the word out there? Because, I still think that, in Kentucky, we still have a ton of patients that want their narcotics. They don't want to hear. They'll participate in an enhanced recovery program if that's what we're doing. But if they don't know anything about it, they're always going to ask for the narcotic first. So
identify those thought leaders, those people who matter to all those different people. AARP is doing incredible work to move the agenda to make the patient at the center of their care.
AARP won't make sense to everyone around the world.
Oh, sorry. What is it? The
American Association of Retired People.
Oh, that, yeah.
And I'm old enough, Monty. I'm a member. But I'm not retired. But really, at 50, you can join the AARP.
I would say it's 50, isn't it?
And they're huge in brain health. They're a partner with the ASA and industry, Medtronic, to really look at how do we maintain patients' blood pressure, specifically intraoperatively, so that we protect the noggin, right, the head, so you can return to drinking, eating, and mobilizing, right?
And they're a powerful lobby?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
incredibly.
Tens of millions of members, as I understand.
Yeah. No, it's not expensive to join, and they're a huge policy advocate. They are a voice in D.C., with payers, with policy folks, legislators, are very respected.
We actually talked to Sarah Locke, who's at ASA with Lee, and talking about the Brain Health Initiative and what they're doing together. I think that is a great collaboration.
She is a powerhouse.
She is. She was fantastic.
Yeah, they ran a collaborative at Hatchery. That's where the founder of AARP, and I won't tell the story perfectly, but it's how I remember it. But she said that's how ideas happen. When you look at a hen house, that's where ideas all happen. So they created this space in D.C. in Gallery Place. It's up on the second floor, and it's just a creative spaces for thinking and creating. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The Hatchery.
Very cool. Huh? I hadn't heard that before. real quick.
Yes,
what is the new role that you're taking on?
Okay.
Because you're leaving the AANA, and I'm crying right now.
No, I'm not leaving. I'll be in a smaller role, but hopefully still contributing mightily to the work that we're doing.
Yeah,
because
you've done so much for our organization.
Well, thank you. Well, that's because I have great friends to collaborate with, like you two, and all that goes with us.
Yeah, right.
This is like the Verizon network. The three of us sitting here. There's like thousands of people back here. But going to Northeastern University, where I actually acquired my doctorate in nursing practice, but to join Maria Van Pelt and her team as an educator.
Nice.
Associate professor, and I don't know what all goes with that title yet, all to be learned.
Hopefully a pension.
Yes, indeed,
no
Monty. Yes, indeed.
And parking, maybe. The P's that get people to come to meetings, pensions and parking.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but I'm really excited because it's in Bouvet College inside. It's the Health Sciences College inside of Northeastern, and so it's interprofessional because it's not just the College of Nursing or the College of Medicine or anything like that. And so I'm a fellow of the National Academies of Practice as well, and so that's 14 different professions, including veterinary medicine.
Oh my gosh,
because they keep us well. Right, yes. Because they take care of our pets. So I'm really looking forward to touching the profession at the beginning again, something I did early on as a clinical and didactic faculty for a hospital program back in Canton, Ohio, and bringing all my friends with me to help offer them perspective that they won't garner for years without somebody offering it to them from the beginning. So how do we really mentor and develop our future anesthetists and mentor them into leadership, because that's really where we're going to touch patients. It's not just when you provide that care directly. It's really when you're in your community working. And
well, can we bring a road show to you? We're doing road shows now.
Yes,
we are.
Which are great fun.
Absolutely.
Did one a week or so ago in a bar.
Yeah, we did. It
just
was
popped
so
up in a
fun.
bar. It was great. Everyone turned up, had a great evening.
Well, we could talk to the dean set up in the middle of campus and just talk to all the people coming and going with all their different thinkings.
Can we
and
do it between May and September?
Yes, absolutely. I arrive May. I think they'll be all ready to go. We'll be talking.
They'll be melted. It'll be good.
Not that we don't like snow, but snow's better with slopes, I think.
Absolutely. Or just sit in the middle of the student center and see what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the luck in the world.
Oh, thanks,
I know.
Desiree. You're coming with me.
I know.
Everybody's coming.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, you'll be fabulous in that role.
I have so much to learn, so thank you.
Well,
my educator colleagues are already reaching out and offering me their pearls. So
great.
Congratulations.
Much like the cancer children with their beads, think of all the people who've given us our pearls to provide anesthesia care and leadership all these years. So I hope I can offer them a few pearls to start to increase the size.
I think
of their
your necklace is long. I think it's going to be. You have a lot of beads, pearls to share.
Well, like the kids, I hope there's a lot of people helping me carry that weight. Right?
Yeah.
It's sad when they have so many necklaces that their family members start wearing them for them because of all their treatments and experiences. So I hope these are more positive.
Happy beads.
Happy beads. There we go. Yeah. Well, Lynn, it was beautiful to talk to you today. Thank you so much, and wonderful to see your smiling face, and we will catch up with you next time.
Well, so surprised to see both of you here, and so grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Top Med Talk community. Have a great day.
Thank you. Top Med Talk.
Nick Majerison here. Thanks for listening to Top Med Talk. Now all you need to do is find us on social media. We can be friends on Facebook. We can follow each other on Twitter. We can hang out on Instagram. Or we can even gawp at each other on YouTube. Get onto your social media platform, whichever your favourite is, and you're likely to find Top Med Talk there. Whilst you're at it, make sure you've subscribed to this podcast so you never ever miss an episode. Helps us enormously if you do that, by the way. And check out the website, topmedtalk.com. On there you can find the email updates where we update you as to what we're doing each week. And whilst you're online, whilst you're doing your thing on the internet, I highly recommend you download all of the podcasts that we've put out here on Top Med Talk. We do an enormous amount of material here. A lot of it is incredibly valuable and, of course, will be in the future. So I just recommend you download the entire back catalogue if you could. Helps us out if you do that as well. And check out edpom.org/meetings, because if you go on there, you can find out where we're recording and what we're doing, because we go to the big meetings, the EBPOM meetings. You may have noticed most of our material comes from some of these wonderful conferences that are organised by evidence-based perioperative medicine. So EBPOM, ebpom.org/meetings. Get yourself on there, and why not check out the Dallas Masters course, a perioperative care practicum. Hopefully I'll see you there.